Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for Scorpio. So, Scorpio, I'm doing your reading as usual with my own tarot deck, so the cards that you see are from this deck. Um, so Scorpio, are you ready to make big decisions? I feel like your reading today has a lot of this greatness in terms of whatever you decide now is going to impact and influence directly your months ahead, your years ahead, your entire future potentially. But I have to say, there is no right or wrong decision. This is very clearly showing up here. And I want to emphasize already since the beginning because I feel like there is fear, okay? There is fear. And I feel like that's because your mind wants to be part of this equation inside this decision. Whereas your entire reading is talking about make your decision with your heart. Is your heart that knows the truth? Is your heart that will guide you towards the best outcome for you, towards your highest good overall? And where your heart is, there is no way of going wrong, you see? But yes, there is fear. It's happening in the middle and at the end. So I feel like this is almost like this the mind trying to insert itself into this process of, you know, and it's not even weighing the two options because it's almost like there is a decision, and I know that decision implies perhaps, maybe having options, maybe, at least two options. But in your case, it's almost like you're so trusting of your heart that you know that whatever decision you make next, whatever path you choose, it's like from this heart space, okay? This is the starting point. It's like wherever it takes you, it will be an outstanding outcome. It's going to be like incredibly fulfilling, incredibly heartwarming. So let's begin with the very first card, which is already like this very impactful major arcana, the Lovers. And so this card came with the words big decisions ahead. And so the interesting thing about this is that, here we cannot, it's almost like, do you see how these two hearts are converging to the center? They are touching here. But really, I'm seeing this as like a 3D perspective. It's almost like there is this, in architecture, it's like there is this name, which I can think of it in Portuguese, which is how I learned. It's like a specific drawing technique that was created in the Renaissance, I think. I can't remember properly. But it was created just to give the sensation of having this focal point that is, at a distance, and it's like where everything is converging to that point. In Portuguese, it's called ponto de fuga. I don't know what it's called in English, but it's like, where all of the lines are converging to this center point. And it's like it goes to the infinite. It never ends. It's almost like this, this point, it's like it's calling our eyes, right? This is the drawing technique. It's like it calls our eyes to that point. And this is what is happening here today. It's almost like I'm seeing this point as like, it's like spreading to the infinite. It doesn't end. And it's almost like, two planes, it's almost like this is the human heart and this is your higher self's heart. The two, when they converge, it's like they meet infinitely. It's like they are always maybe parallel. It's like they are always next to each other. They're always connected to each other. And so this is the thing about the decision that I feel like you're about to make, Scorpio. It's like your heart is in it no matter what. No matter what happens, no matter what you think about, I feel like this is a decision that is going to take you further. It's going to take you, infinitely further, to the point that you will know because your heart knows. It's like, so, if you think of a decision between heart or head, right? Heart or mind. In this case, I feel like this is a decision between human heart or higher self's heart. It's like between heart or heart. There is no other way, especially because with the Five of Cups coming next, well, to me, the fives are all about, well, in this case specifically, is about being present, being completely aware of self, being completely aware of where you are, where your heart space is, where is this starting point, where is this, it's almost like the perspective. It's like the direction that your heart is turned, right? When it's aligned with your higher self's heart, it's like it's going to take you to infinite. It's almost like I'm not seeing the end of this point. This is interesting because I feel like there is like such longevity, but also like, a path that is like merging maybe two points of view, to aspects of self, to timelines perhaps, that is like all, it's like, if you see it from this ground level, it's going to be based on love. If you see it from this higher level, it's going to be based on love, because it's like, it's almost like you are this, you're being sandwiched in a sense, Scorpio. This decision in your case, it's going to be sandwiched by two heart spaces, if it makes sense. I hope it does, because it's really potent, is really undeniable, is really strong. It's almost like, it's like you will know, you will feel, you will know in your heart, because you're so present in your heart. And if you think of what is, okay, so this is like a kind of like an image perception that you'll have to use a little bit of an abstract capacity. Okay, so if you see here, we have a crossing of here the base and the top, which converges in the center. Here we have this and we have this here. So in a sense, we also have this crossing here. You see, it's subtle, but it's there. It's almost like, that's the thing. It's like, maybe you have to believe in what your heart is showing to you, but it's like just a subtle image, maybe a very blurred image of what the future will look like, maybe, but never losing this presence, right? Because this is what the Five of Cups is emphasizing. The presence is going to allow you to see further, even though it's not very sharp. It's like the image is not so clear because it's going so far away, right? But nevertheless, it's like you have a decision in a sense to make right now, which is heart or heart. And I want to say, it's like you're going to join the two hearts. It's because it's all here. I don't know how to explain this. It's like this compression, this merging of the two hearts that is going to propel you forward in a sense, because you will know where to go. Even though, and here comes the first doubt in a sense, or the first hiccup, because we have the Two of Swords. However, even if this Two of Swords is the card that talks about not being able to see further, or not seeing anything at all, because the character in the traditional Two of Swords has a blindfold over her eyes. So this card is actually talking about trusting and taking the steps forward, despite of what your brain is trying to tell you the contrary, or like almost like planned out. Like, if you, because that's the thing, it's like your heart and your mind, Today, the Swords cards are talking about, we have another one coming later on. They're talking about the mind trying to insert itself in this process of the heart's decision. So when your heart is there, when you are present, when you are in your heart, when you are vibrating from your heart space, and there is no doubt, because it's almost like it's not just your human heart, is the merging with your higher self's heart. And so it's like there is a lot of power here, but this is an energy that is still, in a sense, because this is about being present, right? So it's almost like this is the awareness of where you are, but this is the movement. So this is the interesting thing. It's like, even though your mind maybe is trying to play a trick in you and trying to, like, you know, plant doubt or maybe question something, and, you know, say something to you that is like, you know, that monkey mind type of energy that is like all over the place and creating chaos and confusion and, you know, mainly doubt, basically. So here you are going to take the steps further, the very first few steps, despite your mind trying to prevent you from going or trying to make you rethink. So this is the trust. This is the trust, even though your mind can be saying otherwise, because your heart knows. And I feel like that is the balance, the actual beneficial balance to move forward. It's like there is like this beautiful blending of heart and mind when heart wins, when heart, because overall it's like when it's a higher decision that it's, you know, being brought by this, there is no doubt. It's only when your ego perhaps, or your human brain, or your limited, because okay, so that's the thing. Here you see there is no limit. It's like this point in the center goes to infinity. There is no end. And our human brain capacity is so limited that when something so infinite presents itself, it's almost like there is this immediate desire to limit. And this is what the Two of Swords is talking about. It's trying to create limits. But I want to say this is helpful. It's like this tiny fear, this maybe this is just caution, right? This is just caution for you to take, you know, slow steps or small steps, just to yeah, be careful, okay? But trusting in your heart and trusting in what your brain is doubting, in what your brain is not able to grasp, is not able to understand what infinity is. Because with the Six of Pentacles, there is this path being laid that is very solid. And it's because brain and heart, mind and heart are, in a sense, working together, but you know, your heart is always ahead, or your heart is always in command or showing the way, because it's like the stillness and the movement, when they come together, when heart and mind work together despite the fear, going beyond the fear, this is when there is this perfect balance that is able to build this path. You know, it's almost like materialize the path that your heart is already sensing, that goes infinitely forward in a way that is seen, that is made manifest, that is turned into something concrete that you can walk upon, right? So it's like, it's because of the blending of these two, it's because even of this small fear, that you're able to move forward with the caution that is necessary, but trusting 100%, 200% your heart, because this is what is going to be able to create something that is very stable, something that is very solid. And so here, what comes next is interesting, because I feel like the more you walk, it's almost like the the convergence perhaps of these two, it's almost like your heart will be so sure, because it's going to be like the integration with this higher self's heart, that there is going to be, it's like, you see this, right? The message from the Six of Pentacles is the balance point. It's like the connection, and it's almost like this clicking of heart and mind, but in a healthy way that is not stopping you. It's quite the contrary. It's like it's making you move with the necessary measures, with the necessary caution that is always referring back to the heart, right? And so here, this balance that you achieve, and I want to say very early on, you understand that for this path to be laid in a way that is very concrete, is very balanced, is very dynamic, but also trustworthy in a sense, and fair, right? Fair. I always remember that to me, this card is the most fair of them all. And so it's like, for this to be a fair path for you, but one that is concrete, but aligned with this heart's decision, because it's not just your human heart. It's like this, is this alignment with your higher self's heart. It's like you will know that you will always be in this conversation, I want to say, in this dynamic, in this balancing act between heart and mind, because of these two threes that are coming here. So the Three of Cups and the Three of Swords, again, cups and swords, heart and mind. But with the Nine of Cups in between, again, another cups card. So whenever you are in doubt, Scorpio, I feel like you are going to trust your desires, your dreams, your heart space so much, in such a significant, potent way, that even the potential tricks, the potential triggers, the potential pains, whatever this Three of Swords is that could cause you doubt, right? It's like it's going to be balanced, because you will always listen to your heart. It's like you will take, it's almost like this is your heart and your mind working together, but being guided always by your heart, right? I cannot stress this enough, because overall, we have more cups card than swords card. Plus, we are starting your reading with this big heart energy, which is, the big decision. Because it's almost like, okay, so maybe the big decision is because whenever your mind potentially triggers you into this fearful state, into this doubt, it's like you will always have to go back maybe to a still position to listen to your heart carefully, but also understand like the precautions that your mind is trying to give you. It's almost like trying to cope with something so abstract, with something so multidimensional, so infinite, that yes, your human brain will always be present, because that is part of the it's almost like that is part of the manifestation, the physical manifestation. The physical path includes limits in a sense, and this is what your brain is doing. So in a sense, it's not, the fear is not negative per se. It's actually like creating almost like these landmarks, or not landmarks, but like these yeah, maybe landmarks, but it's like points that are marking your evolution through this timeline, through this experience, through this path. Because it's almost like from the heart space, there is no limit. This is like, this is oneness. This is all. This is everything that ever was, that ever is. It's going to be, you know what I mean, right? It's like every single time and space is here. It's like infinity. And so if this is so hard to grasp with your human mind, it's like your mind will always try to insert, it's almost like time frames, or like it's almost like slice time in a sense, because you know, to me the threes are all about co-creation. But when the heart is co-creating, so this is coming very specifically because of this comparison, and it has nothing to do with, you know, heartbreak. And it's interesting because I feel like this is what you're discovering the more that you trust in this path, Scorpio, because you are co-creating using both, using this unlimited potential of your heart. And I want to say this co-creation is this, right? Is like, I'm not seeing necessarily other people, which is interesting. It's almost like I'm seeing you co-creating with your higher self. It's like this is the co-creation that is happening. And so because you're following your heart's desire, it's like you are trusting your heart's desire. So whenever the counter force comes, it's almost like this landmark. It's like creating the question, or creating the doubt, or creating the slice in a sense to this movement that is going to take you back to this. It's like, it's almost like moving, and then doubt, and then slowing down, coming back to your heart, listening to your heart, and then, you know, also listening to your mind, but not letting your mind control your movement. It's almost like going despite what your mind is trying to trigger in you, right? And so it's like, yes, giving it, like listening to it, but not absorbing the negativity or the resistance of it, perhaps, because you know that you have to move forward. It's like there is no other way. It's like you are moving forward, following your heart's decision. And whenever doubt comes, it's like, for you, Scorpio, I want to say, it's like, it's even a good sign. It's like sign that you are going even further, that you have reached the next landmark, the next you know what I mean, right? It's like these moments in your timeline that you will know, you know, through this infinite path, that you have evolved, that you have reached the next level. It's almost like whenever the mind tries to come in, it's like that's the moment when you know, I've reached the next level, and so now let's continue following this path. It's almost like this path is very abstract until your mind tries to, it's almost like proposing you questions. And when your brain brings the questions, it's like that's when you know that the abstract is taking shape. You see what I mean? I hope this makes sense, Scorpio, because it is very abstract to me too as a reader, but I feel like trusting your heart is going to be like this beautiful alignment with your higher self, but also like understanding that the limitations of your brain are actually helpful for this journey. It's almost like helping you to make whatever is just a potential, whatever is just a dream, into something that is manifested, into something that is going to be seen, that is going to be built, right? So I am going to pull more cards for you, Scorpio, as well as the astrological runes in the extended reading. So if you want to join me there, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find the link down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.